Well, hello there, and welcome to today's lesson. This is Mark Delaney, your biggest supporter. You may notice, snazzed it up a little bit for this lesson. Here's why. First of all, I gotta tell you, Cheryl will not be joining us today because today is just about you and me understanding what you need to do next. Plus, she has some scheduling difficulties, so that's why she's not here. Today, we take it from one level to another, and here's what I mean. So I gave you this formula, right? And in the first lesson, I specifically said E is our most variable factor. It doesn't go from a scale of 0 to 3. It goes from 0 to infinity. And the more E you do, the more it impacts everything else. But do you remember I said it doesn't make sense to go out and do a lot of exposing ourselves until we know who, how to get their attention, how to create interest, how to demonstrate we solve their problems, how to make them an offer, and how to get them to accept that offer. But hopefully you've done your homework. You've sat down, you've got your 30-second intro that gets their attention. You've got your 60-second description of what you do that creates interest so they want to sit down and talk to you. You got your questions to ask them so you can let them tell you their problem and then repeat it to them as a demonstration that you get them, you get their problems, and you have the solution. A way to make them an offer that they can't refuse because it's what they told you they needed. And then you do all the things that you can do to make it more likely they'll accept your offer. Now that you've got all that, now it makes sense to go out and get as many exposures as you can. But if you don't have what I call all of this here this is the market and this is the message you deliver to that market. Without those two things, exposing yourself is very risky. And how you choose to expose yourself, I call the media. In essence, once you have all of these things written out and you go to expose yourself, the means by which you expose yourself is a media, is the media you choose to use. So your business card is a form of media. It should have your attention-grabbing statement. Your website is your media. It may have all of these to a certain extent. If you choose to advertise on the radio, the television, in print, your brochure, your flyer, and the reason I wore a tie today is because nothing is more of your media than you. How you look, how you are excited about being there, how you are able to express yourself, all of that, that's all media. Everything that you do and say at a networking event, when you're giving your business card, in your introduction, is your media. So when I go to a networking event, for me, a networking event is my media. I'm willing to bet chances are I met you at some form of a networking event because that's my media. And I gave you my attention-getting statement. I said something created interest. We had a meeting and now you're here. And so networking events are my medium. What is your preferred media? How do you like to meet people? What's most efficient and effective for you? I can't answer that question for you, but here's some things I've learned over the course of time. Very, very successful marketers, meaning people who've made it big, started selling to individuals in one-on-one situations, and that's how they learned how to market. That's how I learned all of this stuff, in part between the coaches I've hired and experience of understanding what works and what doesn't work. So I've gotten to the point now when I'm sitting down and talking with someone based on my ability to demonstrate I can solve their problem and get to their pain, I can tell when I'm not getting to this person's pain, when I'm not getting or saying or getting from them what they really want to change. And I almost know that this person's never going to accept my offer because they don't really have any pain. They're not the right one for me because whatever they're going through isn't worth their spending what I charge to be able to get them to accept that offer. But that comes with experience. I also know that most advertising is sold because a very attractive person walks into a business and says, I've got your marketing solution, when the reality is they're selling a marketing medium. So whether it's newspaper, TV, radio, they don't know this stuff. And if you haven't figured this stuff out, they'll go and write an ad that may sound good, but never gets anybody's attention or doesn't create any interest. So those people don't take action. And that's why this stuff is so important before you get the exposures. So if every exposure has a cost, does that make sense? Every exposure has a cost, whether it's time or money. I would rather have 10 exposures to a Q3 than 1,000 exposures at a Q1. Because I'd rather reach 10 people who are perfect for what I'm offering than 1,000 people who really have no extreme call or interest in what I'm doing. And so the reason those attractive people who show up at the doors of business owners and say, I've got this marketing solution, the reason they're so successful is because you and I haven't figured out all of this. And we hope they can figure it out for us. We hope they can keep us from having to go out and actually talk to people. We hope they can get a result we've never gotten before. And so millions of marketers, business owners, and such spend thousands of dollars. And in my opinion, they throw it away because they're going after not a high enough level of Q. They're just going after massive numbers of exposures. And most mass media marketing sells based on, I'm going to help you reach this massive number of people. Never mind how good they are. So here's my recommendation. You have to get your Q before you do anything else. Then you figure out your 30-second intro, your 60-second description, get these questions, figure out all this stuff, and then expose yourself to select audiences where you can measure, am I really right with the Q? And is this stuff really getting me along the process? Do I get their attention? Do they come to me and ask me questions? Am I creating interest? Are people willing to meet with me? Am I getting to their pain? Am I making an offer that they can't refuse based on doing everything right so they accept it? And as you get better at getting people to accept your offers, then you know who to expose yourself to more frequently and more regularly. And then you can think about things like advertising. But I would always start small and work my way up. But now that we've got the formula, it's time to expose ourselves to as many quality people as we can. And when we do it one-on-one, networking events, especially free networking events, and when we're able to go as we go about normally and just give out our business card or talk to people as we go, now we're able to expose ourselves and we can measure our results and then move forward. So here's your challenge this time period, whether it's a week, whether it's a day, whatever it may be, until I talk to you again. I want you to go out and take your 30-second intro, and I want you to strike up a conversation with people who represent your Q, be they business, be they consumer, whatever they may be. And I just want you to do your 30-second intro to 10 people and see what happens. See, do they ask you, tell me more, or they look at you like you have another head growing out of this? See, if they create interest and they ask you what happens, give them your interest statement and see if they want to sit down and talk. But see what happens. You cannot measure based on one interaction. 10 is the minimum. Let's see what happens. We're going to do that. And when we come back in the next lesson, we'll talk about how to ramp it up and how to take it a step further. We'll talk about what to do next. But that's your homework assignment for today. Go out, look good, look sharp, be your best, and give yourself 10 exposures to the right quality of people. Could be a phone call, could be a networking event, could be you're just, at a meeting, whatever it is, get to 10 people and see what happens.